Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's the 28th of May, almost 29th. It's Friday, and I wanted to bring a couple stories to your attention. First of all, let me read this comment that I received on my last video. Just the facts was the name of that video, because I think it's relevant. A lot of you are going to feel my frustration when I read this comment. And the only reason I'm bringing this comment up is because I think it might help answer some questions you might have. So I'm going to read it. I was a doom and gloomer 40 years ago, even though when I went to his page, it lists him at 34 years old. But whatever, I digress. The world was ending then, and the world is ending now. The same stats 40 years ago, repeating crisis, and no jobs and taxes and food and natural disasters, recession, depression, satanic forces at work, propaganda and percentages that are falling. First time for this, first time for that. Now I'm 60 years old, not 20, and everything is the same as it was. I eat, drink, pay, pay my bills, sleep. Charlie, listen. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you die. Now, I don't know if this is a legitimate comment, or, you know, like I said, I went to his page or her page, and they're listed at 34 years old, no videos uploaded, no blah, 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 whatever. I don't really care, to be honest. Because even if it's a complete troll and it's somebody just trying to be contrary to the video I put out, that's fine. But I think that attitude that's represented by that comment isn't foreign. You know, we all deal with that. We all who are trying to mentally prepare ourselves for what we know is coming and trying to prepare our loved ones, friends, and family, coworkers for what we know is coming, run into that attitude all the time. You know, it's doom and gloom. Things were bad in the 60s. Things were bad in the 70s, in the 80s, and this is always, it's cyclical. It's going to turn around. And my answer to that is simple. This is not the crisis of the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. This is not the crisis of the 30s. This is, by far and away, the most severe economic crisis the world has ever known, and in part by design. You know, in the 30s, we never had a potential quadrillion-dollar derivatives market that at any time could implode the economies of the entire world simultaneously. We never had an integrated banking system, which is part of my by design theory, a world-integrated web of oligarchs controlling the financial destinies of what used to be sovereign nations around the world. And the effects that of something happening bad in Greece could not only affect the people of Greece, but Germany, Italy, Portugal, France, all of Europe, and the UK, and the world for that matter. We didn't see a massive plea for the governments of the world to make the oligarchs whole, complete, and healthy, and being sold to the guys of Main Street as you need to get them healthy before you can become healthy. We didn't have a system where every currency in the world was based on nothing but thin air and promises of that sovereign nation. Do you see what's going on? Do you see what's happening in the world right now? At any time we have a derivative time bomb, if it goes off, it is absolutely game over. The terrorists that are really destroying the world, the economic terrorists, use this landmine as leverage to convince the sovereign governments of the world to impose austerity measures in the form of bailouts on their citizens, as they have done in the United States. See, that was our austerity measure. That money, that $30+ trillion has been borrowed, begged, and stole and given to the oligarchs in the form of direct payments, in the form of guarantees, and in the form of buying companies. That austerity measure happened up front. We will get our austerity measure implemented onto us, just as we see happening in Greece right now. And now we see Spain's AAA rating fall to a AA+, whatever that is. So to draw a comparison, when you have people trying to draw comparisons to any other disaster in history, it's important to point out to them that some of the catchphrases that the administration puts out, the oligarchs put out, and the mainstream media puts out are accurate, systemic. We've never been in a situation where everything is absolutely integrated, and when one part of the machine breaks down, it will stop the entire machine. That's why you see Geithner over in Europe telling Germany, or Obama telling the German chancellor that she needs to step up and bail out Greece. That's why you see Geithner in China allegedly talking about their currency. And in my opinion, he's over there begging for more money because our double dip recession is about to kick into full gear. And that's why there is no comparison between what happened in the 70s, 60s, and times past to now. This is the end game. This is the global banking governance being administered onto the world. Because what's going to happen when this thing comes apart and the cracks are showing everywhere, the paper is starting to dissolve, and the true depth of the crisis is starting to be recognized now. When it does come apart, and austerity measures are in the mind of the world citizens, then we're going to be handed this lifeline, which isn't going to be a lifeline. It's going to be an anchor that sinks our constitution in this country, that sinks the austerity of anybody listening in a foreign country, and it's going to sink your right as a human being to pursue happiness in the way you see fit. You are going to pursue happiness in the way that the global governance sees fit. I'll attach the story by Zero Hedge with a gentleman named Jeffrey Sachs. He's a Columbia University economist professor, getting his head handed to him by Henry Hughes, who is a businessman from the UK. It's a very interesting video. Please watch that. Also, I'll attach the story about Spain's AAA rating being dropped. And the last thing I want to talk about and put a video on is the Gulf of Mexico disaster. It's mind-boggling, the lies that are coming out of the mainstream media, and in my opinion, the lies from everybody from Napolitano, the director of Fatherland propaganda, on up to the president, saying that they're all hands on deck from day one. You know, we're finding out now 25,000 to 100,000+ barrels of oil a day. We're told that the top kill is the best option, but they didn't do it until 40 days into the thing. And I'm going to attach his video from Dylan Radigan's show, and he has two oil experts on there, Matt Simmons and his colleague, and they point out that BP's missing the boat. You know, they're trying to put out this small fire when the big fire is 5 to 6 miles away, spewing oil into the ocean. That's what's causing this massive underwater plume that we don't even hear about. You know, all we hear about is the what's on top. We're not hearing about the miles wide, miles long, and hundreds of feet thick plume that is beneath the surface, or hidden, as they say in this video. So please check these out. But for now, that's all I got.